Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a bit out there, isn't it? Yeah.
yeah.
But no, this fads. It's so
That's right.
ridiculously
That's the word. Yeah.
fad driven, and that's why Australians. People ask me why is there a disproportionate number of Australians in academia. And the thing about Australia and the training you get in Australia is you're cut off. You're really well up until what the late '90s, early 2000s. You really had no communication with the rest of the world. You had your little slightly inbred academic world in Australia, and you were
Right. So you're saying,
relatively left alone. Yeah,
so you didn't
and
have to follow the trends that
you
other
didn't
people
even
were
know what
following.
they were. You didn't
Okay.
hadn't even heard of
The
the
fads.
trends. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then people like I remember the first time going to the US, and what was it? It was all something entanglement. Everyone was talking like everyone was talking about this something to do with entanglement. I can't remember what it was. And then I started talking about something else that I'd been thinking about. And they're like, "Oh, you're such an independent thinker," and I was like, I just started laughing. It was just like, what? It's because I'm not talking about this topic. I'm an independent thinker. Um, yeah, yeah.
That's
It's
interesting.
ridiculously fad driven, and to the down to the like the terminology, which algorithms you use or whatever. It's just ridiculous how fast people copy each other and swim in the same direction.
I feel like I somehow just was oblivious to all of this, even even after
Yeah, but you're Australian, aren't you?
leaving, maybe because
You're just
I
used to not
remember
following fads.
hearing secondhand something that it's one of those like backhanded compliments, um,
Hmm.
but someone who I respected and thought they were a good researcher apparently said about me that oh, Aggie doesn't care what anyone thinks and she just like works on whatever research she thinks is interesting. And I was like, kind of like, is that? I mean, it sounds like a compliment, but maybe it's kind of an
Maybe it's an
insult.
insult. Yeah.
But at the same time, it was like something I just never really gave any thought to. Like I
Hmm.
just like I don't know. I didn't think it was something that other people weren't doing. Like
Yeah, I thought
I guess
for
I was not strategic at all about my research directions. Like the whole time I was in academia, I just really like worked on what was
your
interesting. But I thought everybody
interest
did
based.
that.
Yeah,
And
I
so
thought everybody did that for a while, but then
yeah.
maybe I feel like I'm standing outside of the community. Maybe that's the path to crack pottery.
Mm.
But you go to a conference and just the groupthink, the social behaviors of groupthink and how they manifest themselves. It's it just jumps out at me, and I keep wondering. Keep asking the question like, why are you all interested in this thing?
Mm.
And I went through a period of my life where I just asked people, why are you interested in insert trendy topic? And invariably and very depressingly, it's because Ed Whitton was interested in it, or Alexei Kataev was
Oh,
interested in it, or John Preska was interested in it. And while I respect all these people massively and they have made contributions that I could never hope to manage to approach, isn't that a depressing answer? Like,
yeah. That's like the opposite of crackpot.
yeah, sycophant. I don't know, whatever it is. Um,
Hmm.
And I still ask people this: why are you interested in this question? And so often it's insert big name here is interested in this or said it was an important problem,
Which, yeah, like could be true, but
which
then
is
do you
true.
want to be fighting the other like 100 people that are going to be working on the same
Exactly.
problem?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Independent thought is, I think it gets rewarded, but of course, people get they understand the rules of the system, the tournament very quickly. They grasp these rules, and they know that it is more effective to work on a trendy topic, and then you can game the system and get
Hmm.
higher quicker if you do that. Um, that's I think that's probably the ulterior motive here is if you've solved a problem that Kataev says is important, then of course you'll be catapulted to the top of the social hierarchy and be exposed and get more
But then,
job
okay,
offers.
so I feel like a lot of times people don't want to leave academia
Hmm.
because they think that in the real world, people do all this like politics and selling and
Yeah,
stuff and like strategy and stuff. And but like people do that in academia
they
as
totally do
well.
that.
And
Yeah.
so is it just misguided? Is it just like young people who haven't figured that out yet, who like reject the outside world for those
I want.
reasons,
I'll look.
or it's like I know I almost feel like if you are going to be like that, why don't you go be like that somewhere else and make way more money? Like, why?
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. This baffles me. Yeah.
What is it that
What's
they're trying to? Maybe
what
they
are they?
just like the prestige, like of
Yeah,
being,
I.
a top professor, or
Um,
I don't know.
it's a fascinating topic to me. I really love this. Um, I don't know because these people, if money was the motivation,
Mm.
then they could make shit tons of money
Yeah.
and be intellectually challenged in other places. There's no question. But they're desperate for the prestige that they can get in the academic world, even if it means less money. So I've seen the looks on people's faces when they explain to you why they're in the field and why they want to do why they want to get to the top. And so it's just like maybe they just the approval of a thought leader is more important
Hmm.
to them personally than money. And I
Which
don't.
is, yeah, I guess that's fine. But people have different things that they value. But I guess
Mm,
I thought that the reason people got into physics is because they find doing physics interesting, right? And
I
then
thought this as well. Yeah.
they're like, okay, I'm going to give up all that money and stuff because I just really want to like do physics. And is it that at some stage they realize like, oh, the only way that I can keep doing physics is if I get one of these fancy like faculty jobs. And then to get one of the fancy faculty jobs, you have to spend 10 years selling your soul. And then the hope is that you'll still have enough soul left for you to like do curiosity driven
Exactly that.
research once you get the faculty job.
Yes,
Or is that
I've
kind of
had that same conversation with so many people at eye level in the community
Mhm.
who've been on a similar path. You you start off wanting to do physics. I think that's true, and you quickly internalize the incentive structure of
Mhm.
academia, and you know you want the faculty position because then you've made it. Then you can do physics finally, right? Then you can do it, and so you work hard and you try and get the right metrics to be high enough to win the tournament and get the faculty position. And by the time you're there, and I have so many colleagues this way, you've internalized it so deeply you don't even know what it was that
Hmm.
motivated you in the first place. And it certainly resonates with me. I mean, that's my own path in life. It was the same. I was lucky enough to get a permanent position in 2010.
Mhm.
Like I don't know through some kind of miraculous luck, I got this position, and it
Well,
took.
it's-
um, and then it took a number of years to deprogram myself
hmm.
to the point where I can have this conversation because I
Right, like
still,
15,
yeah,
I guess.
I
So,
guess 15. I guess
yeah.
15. Uh, like
Or
it's
maybe,
not about
maybe 10, but like,
maybe yeah. The pandemic could have kind of did
yeah.
funny things, uh, but it's for so long you have these incentives and they stay with you. You know, it stops being number of papers and starts being citations. It stops being citation. It starts being grant money. Like how much grant income have you generated? How many PhD students do you have? And people like compare these numbers with each other. And for what purpose?
Yeah.
I yeah. So I yeah.
So sorry, I was just gonna say, like, as you were describing this, like, I was thinking, like, maybe what needs to happen is that, like, once you get your tenured position or whatever your full-time position, then there should be like some kind of like intervention that the university
Yes.
does, like sends you on some kind of
Detox program. Yeah.
sabbatical like detox
Yeah.
where you like can like become like an authentic
Yeah.
researcher again. But as I started having that thought, like, is it even in the university's best interest? No, the
No. No.
university
No. No.
wants you to keep doing the things that it was
Yeah.
incentivizing you to do to get that job, to get the citations, to get the grant money. So
Exactly
they
that. Yeah.
wouldn't do something like that.
They would
So
never ever. It was not in their best interest. You know, it's you need to be deprogrammed from this cult. And some people never get deprogrammed, and they just prick. You know, whatever. Propagate. There's a word starting with P that I can't find. They perpetuate the
mhm.
system because they never get deprogrammed. Yeah, I love the idea of this sort of sabbatical or whatever. This is.